Well, good morning. This is Marion Douglas, and as many of you know, I am an entrepreneur and life coach, and I'm talking to you from sunny Southern California. And there was an interesting conversation I had the other day that came up. I was working with a lady, and we were working on getting clear about her vision. One of the things that came up in that conversation was that she had asked me about her marriage, her primary relationship, and apparently there had been some issues. She's been having some difficulties with that, and so she wanted to bring that up as part of our conversation. Now, normally we don't talk about relationships in these conversations because these conversations are mainly geared to creating wealth. But in one of these sessions, we had talked about how your inner voice interferes and often can sabotage other areas of your life and your primary relationships, whether you be married or just in a relationship with somebody, could be sabotaged by this inner voice. So we talked a little bit about the whole idea of vision because my first question to her was, okay, what is your vision for your marriage? She had no idea. She had never even thought about her marriage in the sense of what she gets to make out of it. It's been something that has just been, she looks at it every day and she does what she does every day and he does what he does every day, and they have what they have at the end of the day. And so my coaching to her first of all was, okay, now let's look at, is that working? Obviously it wasn't working. But let's get back to the conversation of how vision uh, fits into the whole idea of creating wealth or just about anything else in your life. If I have a written vision for my marriage, now when I tell people that, they seem to be surprised at that. And the reason why I have a written vision for my marriage is because the vision always gives me direction about who it is that I get to be first and foremost. What kind of person am I talking about? What kind of husband am I talking about being in the marriage? Because the vision says, dictates the human being, the kind of man that I get to be. There's only certain kind of men that would execute certain kinds of goals and have certain kinds of visions turn out. That just seems to make sense to me. So uh, the first thing that happens is that my vision tells me who it is that I get to be. It gives me some direction about how it is I get to conduct myself and what values that I uh, espouse to and how I show up in the marriage as a husband. And without a vision of some idea, some clarity about what it is that I want to create, that whole idea of who it is that I get to be in it becomes a very nebulous thing. So that was number one. Number two is we all know that life happens, okay? And so the issue is not what goes on. The issue is how do I treat it in such a way? How do I show up in it in such a way that my vision turns out anyway? This is what it is that has vision, have me have direction, and has me conduct myself and treat certain situations in such a way that it's directed at something. Okay, the clearer I am at my vision, then the more directed I am in this daily circumstances, the things that come up on a daily basis, regardless of whether I perceive them as being good or bad. Uh, the way that I interact with them has some direction. As long as my vision is in front of me and I have clarity about it, then I have some direction about how it is that I treat every situation that comes up. So, in terms of creating wealth, it is incumbent upon me to be very clear about what it is that, what kind of wealth am I talking about creating? What kind of lifestyle am I talking about creating? And how clear am I about that lifestyle? How clear am I about the goals that I have, the vision that I have for the life that I say that I want to lead? And that's in every area of my life. Think about going on vacation and not having a clue about where you're going to go. What would you be talking about to anybody? Okay? You have no idea where you're going. So how you're going to get there is a ridiculous question until you figure out where you're going, when you want to be there, what kind of things you wanted to do when you arrive. This is all lifestyle, and until you have all that figured out, there's no reason to talk about the rest of it. Until you have a destination figured out, there's no reason to talk about the rest of it. So in terms of life issues like marriages and income and those kinds of things, all of that is part of the same train of thought. If you figure out what your vision is for your life, the rest of it makes sense. There's an alignment behind what it is that you said that you want to create, including the kind of person that you get to be in order to have that turn out in your life. So take some time to consider that. Sit down for some time during the day. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it'll take however long it takes. But get clear about what your vision is in your life. It will support you tremendously, I promise.